5,000-meter races. Good, robust fields here for these two events. Got three pacers that everybody's going to recognize from the 1,500. Austen DALQUIST, from the steeple, Joey BERRIATUA, and from the 1,500, Drew Hunter. And meanwhile, we have a couple of Stanford kids that I think a lot of people are going to recognize here. Kai Robinson, you can see him there in the middle, and what a tremendous athlete this young man is. Robinson won the 5,000 and 10,000 at the NCAA championships. He is from Brisbane, Australia, which is hosting the 2032 Olympics. Kai is 21 now. He'll be 30. Perfect age in Brisbane for his home Olympics should he make the team. And Kai is fresh off a 13:20.96 in Lausanne. His teammate at Stanford, Charles HICKS, you can see him there in the red and white. He's now representing the Bowerman Track Club. HICKS won the NCAA cross-country championships in 2022. His dad is a terrific photographer. He takes pictures of Charles wherever he competes. I'm not sure if he's there at Occidental or not. Great family from Florida. Second in the NC2A 10,000 to his teammate Robinson. He was first this year, just a couple weeks ago, in the European under-23 5,000 meters. He has a best in this event of 13:24.58. Now, the World Championship standard is 13:07 flat. Robinson has run 13:20.96 this year. So that's something, obviously, that he wants to nail down if he can, as there are only 8 more days to get that standard. Will.
Yeah, I think there's a couple athletes here. I mean, with a variety of different goals in mind. That World Championship standard 13:07 flat on a lot of people's mind. A solid 5K performance on others. But lingering way in the background is the, I'd say, unpublished Olympic standards, which everyone assumes will be at least what the World Championship standards are now, if not maybe a little bit quicker. Traditionally, they would go a little bit slower for the Olympics than the World Championships, but the way that World Athletics is starting to trend things, your guess is as good as mine, Tom, but you can tell that this pace is hot. They were about 62 seconds through the first 400 meters. The pace has slowed to a more reasonable 64, but that straight line, that single line of athletes there leads me to believe that the pace out there is adequate. You've got guys like Sam Parsons, who's still trying to cement himself and his berth into a World Championships and potentially an Olympics next year. Morgan McDonald, who's coming back from a whole slate of unfortunately timed injuries, but we know the talent that Morgan McDonald had from the NCAA, prolific champion racer, as well as athletes like Ben Flanagan. Ben Flanagan, who was the surprise 10,000-meter winner from Michigan a few years back at the NCAAs, and went on to have incredible success on the roads when he was under the tutelage of Coach Fox out there with the Reebok team. But, he's now back with Ron Warhurst, his college coach, and performing extraordinarily well. I actually don't. I think it might have been Kevin Sullivan, if I'm correct, who coached him in college. But I think that there's some what I would say is there's some boxing out here today, Tom, because some of these athletes, they are currently in that world rankings quota, and they don't want any of these athletes to usurp them with a performance. So, a guy like Ben Flanagan thinks, if I go and win the Canadian Championships next weekend, and none of these athletes here bump me in the quota, then I'm going to earn my place to Budapest.
Okay, well, let's set the table here. Dahlquist setting the pace. Drew Hunter, pacemaker number 2, BERRIATUA, pacemaker number 3. Then it's Kai Robinson, Ahmed MUHUMED. We'll talk a little bit more about him. Sam Parsons, and then Charles HICKS. And I can tell you that I just got a text from David HICKS, and he said that he and his wife, Margaret, a wonderful person, they're watching from Finland, where it's 7:10 a.m. So we won't see the spectacular photographs that David HICKS takes, but I'm glad that he's watching his son compete here. And we know that he'll put on a good show for us here. The Pac-12 10,000-meter champion, the second-place finisher in the NCAA, a two-time Pac-12 cross-country champion. And now it looks like Dahlquist is moving to the side. We're running very quickly we're running about a 63-second pace, which you have to love in 78-degree weather. Kai Robinson looks absolutely on point there, very, very comfortable in the maroon of Stanford. Ahmed MUHUMED He's formerly of Somalia, now a U.S. citizen. I don't know if you saw the 5K at the USA Championships. Ahmed MUHUMED was right there with just a couple laps to go. The young man with the beard and the yellow singlet. This guy's for real. Florida State graduate. He was 8th at the national championships, as I mentioned, but he was in the mix. And he has a best of 13:16:09. And then let's not forget, we have Kieran TUNTIVATE from the Bowerman Track Club in Thailand, the former Harvard athlete who has run 27:17:14, a national record. He has 8 of them, 8 national records for Thailand. And he just ran 13:15:67 in Heusden, Belgium on July 15th. So this is a really superior field. Everybody that we want up there is up there. And this should be a real burner with the pace that they're running. That last lap, 64 flat.
Yeah, this is again where, Tom, people are asking constantly, what are the components that are making some of these extremely fast races? Well, the athletes, I think, across the board, across the globe have leveled up, but also it's where these things like the wave light technology comes into play. Now, our pacemakers are doing an excellent job, and we're very grateful for them, but we're watching the pace sort of waffle a little bit. We got out really hot, and then we ran almost a 65, and then to 63, and a 62, and a 64, and a 65, versus just locking in. This is the knife's edge that these athletes ride on, and they expect perfection from the pacemakers. Now, you mentioned it. Kai Robinson looks silky smooth there running in second. You got to love to see a college kid who just is like, his confidence is sky high. You got, the guy's head can probably barely fit through the uprights of these field goal posts right now with how much confidence he's coming off of NCAAs with, but just how he's just cruising there behind Joey Baggs. He's clearly up for the task. He knows what his missions and objectives are for the day, and just coming out here singularly focused on getting the job done. And again, as you mentioned, Ahmed MUHUMED, an incredible performance. The guy was kind of off my radar until the U.S. Championships, but there's no hiding away now. Everyone knows who you are, bud.
Yeah, well put. And Ben Flanagan, who you mentioned, is also hanging on to that lead group. This is almost like what you would expect to see in Europe. This is just a really, really nicely developing race. And 65 seconds on that last lap. Getting back to Kai Robinson, people don't realize how difficult it is for Australians. They have their national championships at the beginning of the year, and then you go to college. So he was running cross country, then he internationally, because he was 23rd at the World Cross Country Championships, then did indoor track, then does outdoor track, then goes to Europe. In addition, last year, he was 6th in the Commonwealth Games in the 10,000. So this young man was also a great steeplechaser. Kai Robinson in second. He holds the national Australian record in the under-20 steeplechase, 8:32:01, had a bad fall at the Pac-12 championships in 2021, and I think he said that was enough for me of the steeplechase. Not a bad move considering how good a 5 and 10,000 meter runner he is. BERRIATUA steps away. We hit 3,000 meters in just about 8 minutes. I'm waiting to see it. 8 minutes flat. So
yeah, so we had Kai Robinson at about 8 minutes dead, leading this pack of 6 men through 3,000 meters. And goodness gracious, I mean, they up to the task. And sort of as we were talking about with the 1,500 meter races earlier, that these guys, these athletes can all close so hard. And so it's incredible to see Kai Robinson up there driving the train through 2 miles now with Ahmed MUHUMED and Sam Parsons. Sam Parsons is finding the form that he was in a couple of years ago, where he's routinely being able to put back-to-back great races together. You love to see it from that guy and from the Tin Man group. Just nothing but the best things to say about the Tin Man Elite. This group has all those guys to thank, with Joey Baggs and Drew Hunter coming out here and helping push the pace for them, setting us up for nothing but success as these men come through with a mile to go.
So we're running about 13:10 pace. Again, Robinson's lifetime best is 13:11:53, which is an indoor performance. His outdoor best at 13:20:96, which he did in Lausanne. So let's set the table. Robinson, MUHUMED, Sam Parsons, who is fresh off the German national championships, where he was third in the 5,000 meters. He's currently third. Charles Hicks just tucking away with TUNTIVATE. TUNTIVATE now moving up. TUNTIVATE moving up into second place. Parsons, the tall figure, in fourth. Hicks now moving back into sixth. Flanagan into fifth. Flanagan was the NC2A 10,000 meter champion in 2018. He has a lifetime best of 13:13.97. So this is shaping up as an absolute knockdown, drag out fight that's maybe getting a little bit tactical. And let's see what develops here over the final 3 laps.
Yeah, we saw, we went from running 64s to 66 to a 68 on that lap. And one of the things that we're seeing now that's come into picture is Morgan McDonald is closing the gap between himself and this lead group. Sam Parsons acknowledging the fact that they've done too much hard work up until this point in the race to let it slide away. Sam, maybe not so much concerned with the win of this race, although you got him, the Tin Men love to win. Sam concerned more with getting the performance that he came here to get. And so he is now in charge of pulling this field through. As you know, this is honestly surprising me, Tom. I'm seeing Kai Robinson sort of get chewed up and spit out the backside of that field. Something must have happened. I don't know if he got a side stitch or something, but he was looking so good until about 400 meters ago.
And it's a tough grind to go, you know, when you're in Australia, you're in the States, you're in Lausanne, Switzerland, and you're all over the place. But Charles Hicks, his Stanford teammate, still hanging in there quietly. In 5th place is Hicks. Remember, Hicks's lifetime best is 13:24.58, and there's a very good chance he's going to smash the heck out of that here as we have 2 laps to go. They just tallied a 65-second lap, 11:20.88 through 4,200 meters. Parsons,
They're going to
TUNTIVATE, and Flanagan, MUHUMED. Hicks trying to maintain contact in 5th. Morgan McDonald, his first race of the year, in 6th. Robinson dropping all the way back to 7th.
They're going to need to find some sort of rocket fuel here, get a box of health in the video game parlance somewhere around this next bend, because they got some work to do if they want to break 13:20 in this race. 11:20 with 2 laps to go, but the pace continues to look like it's picking up as runner after runner after runner sort of gets chewed up and spit out the back of this pack. They're coming in with 400 meters to go. Let's see what these guys have in their legs. That was another 64, I think.
So Sam Parsons, 3:36.22 is his best 1,500. He's coming back from the German championships. He just turned in a 63 second lap. TUNTIVATE from Thailand, the 26-year-old and the 21 Olympian, in 3rd. MUHUMED in 2nd, and now Ben Flanagan moving up. As you said, we're dropping one at a time. Hicks has dropped back. Morgan McDonald is going to pass Hicks. Here goes Flanagan. He's going to make his big move, the Canadian. It's Flanagan, MUHUMED, Parsons looking down. Flanagan looks great. Here comes MUHUMED. It's going to be a 2-man race into the stretch, and they are both flying. Ahmed MUHUMED on the left, Ben Flanagan on the right, into the straight. Everybody on their feet. It is Flanagan and MUHUMED, a dead heat. And who's going to take it? It is Flanagan, and it will be Flanagan at the line.
What a race, Tom. My gosh, you could just see those two guys clawing it out, fighting every yard of the home stretch. Ben Flanagan in his textbook Ron Warhurst form, arms bent just so, driving them hip to shoulder. My gosh, he knew he came out here with one goal, win the race. Sat back, bided his time, perfectly executing the race plan, did everything that he needed to do to hopefully secure that berth if he wins the Canadian Championships next week to Budapest. I mean, this is like time and time again. This is what we're talking about. This is why athletes are coming here. Some athletes are coming here to try and achieve the standard. Others are trying to cement their standard. And I'm a huge Morgan McDonald fan. My bad, but great performance from Morgan.
One thing I wanted to mention to you, Will, the Canadian National Championships are next weekend. And so for a race like this, for Flanagan, he is in the catbird seat, one would assume, along with MUHUMED. with that Canadian championships coming up. He has got to be thrilled. And I was really impressed with Flanagan's turnover. He was really putting it, pulling them up and taking them down. Take it away, Will.
We saw this coming up with 400 meters to go. We knew that we were going to have some fireworks as these guys, for what their abilities are, they were running fairly conservatively. And on the backstretch, you can just look at Ben Flanagan's face right now. He is completely in control. Ahmed MUHUMED takes the lead and does not expect this fiery Canadian to come around with such gusto. And then with 100 meters to go, Ben Flanagan took a look to his inside, but he's on the outside. Keep looking, look right, don't look left. But he held it together, and they were absolutely flying, Tom.
They were, and don't sleep on Morgan McDonald with the Canadian